In our everyday interactions, men and women often seem to be speaking completely different languages. Despite our best intentions, men and women often interpret the same messages in vastly different ways, leading to confusion and misunderstanding. This communication divide can lead to humorous situations, but it can also cause real relationship challenges when we misinterpret each other's intentions. One common area of misunderstanding is in listening styles. What appears as disinterest to one person may simply be a different way of showing attention. Women often provide verbal cues like or I see to show they're engaged, while men might listen intently without making these sounds. This difference can lead to women feeling unheard and men feeling unfairly accused of not paying attention. Gender communication differences don't emerge in isolation. They're influenced by cultural expectations and socialization processes that begin in early childhood. These culturally shaped patterns create different frameworks for how we interpret messages, forming the foundation of many gender-based misunderstandings. In this series, we'll explore practical ways to bridge the communication gap between men and women, helping to reduce misunderstandings and improve relationships. We'll examine recent research, look at common patterns of miscommunication, and provide practical strategies for clearer understanding between genders. Gender communication styles often differ significantly between men and women. These differences stem from how we're socialized from childhood, shaping distinct communication patterns. From early childhood, boys and girls are often encouraged to interact in different ways, establishing distinct social hierarchies and communication norms. Let's examine how these differences manifest in masculine and feminine communication styles. Feminine speech communities often prioritize connection, equity, and support, while masculine speech communities focus more on independence, exhibiting knowledge, and directness. One of the most significant differences is in direct versus indirect communication styles. Men tend to be socialized to communicate directly, being explicit about what they want. Women are often socialized to be indirect, considering others' feelings and using hints rather than direct statements. This table highlights the key differences between direct and indirect communication patterns across various contexts. These communication style differences extend to nonverbal cues as well, such as posture and personal space. Men typically adopt more open postures, taking up more space, while women tend to use closed postures, taking up less space. These differences in communication styles can lead to a significant issue known as the mind-reading expectation. Women, who often communicate indirectly, may expect men to understand their subtle hints and cues. Men, who typically communicate more directly, may miss these indirect signals, creating frustration on both sides. Understanding these different communication styles can help bridge the gap between genders and reduce misunderstandings in personal and professional interactions. Emotional expression differs significantly between men and women. Let's explore how these differences manifest in daily interactions. Men tend to express emotions through actions and problem solving. They show care by fixing things and completing tasks. Women often prioritize verbalizing their feelings, seeking emotional support, and expressing empathy through detailed emotional sharing. Research suggests biological and socialized differences in how men and women process emotions. Women are often more adept at reading emotional cues and expressing empathy. These different approaches to emotional expression can lead to miscommunication in relationships. Understanding these patterns can help couples bridge the gap. Communication style differences extend to verbal and nonverbal approaches. Men often focus on direct verbal content, while women may pay more attention to nonverbal cues and emotional subtext. Consider this common scenario. Sarah shares her difficult day at work, seeking emotional validation. David immediately offers solutions to her problems, thinking he's being helpful. This leads to misunderstanding. Sarah feels unheard emotionally, while David is confused because he was trying to show he cares by fixing her problems. Understanding these differences allows us to bridge the emotional expression gap. Action oriented communicators can listen without immediately solving, while verbal emotional communicators can recognize that practical help is often an expression of care. By recognizing and respecting these different approaches to emotional expression, we can prevent misinterpretations of intent and affection, ultimately building stronger relationships. Nonverbal communication makes up 60 to 70% of our daily interactions. These cues include body language, facial expressions, eye contact, and other signals beyond spoken words. Research suggests significant differences in how men and women perceive and interpret nonverbal cues. Women are often more skilled at reading facial expressions and emotional signals, processing multiple nonverbal cues simultaneously. Men, on the other hand, may focus more on verbal content and sometimes miss subtle nonverbal signals, processing information more linearly. Facial expressions are particularly important nonverbal cues that communicate our emotions. Studies indicate that women typically recognize emotional expressions with greater accuracy than men, particularly for subtle emotions. Modern technology can analyze facial expressions to detect emotions, but humans still outperform AI in recognizing subtle emotional nuances. Misinterpretation of nonverbal cues is a common source of miscommunication between genders. For example, yawning might be interpreted as boredom by one person, while it actually indicates fatigue or stress for the other person. In real conversations, numerous nonverbal cues are exchanged simultaneously, creating a complex layer of communication. Key nonverbal signals include eye contact, body posture, microexpressions, and gestures, all of which can either complement or contradict spoken words. To improve cross-gender communication, we can practice conscious observation of nonverbal cues and ask for clarification when signals seem mixed. It's also important to be aware of our own nonverbal communication and recognize that interpretation styles may differ between individuals. Understanding gender differences in nonverbal communication can significantly reduce misunderstandings between men and women. Mixed signals occur when someone's words and actions don't align, creating confusion and uncertainty in relationships. Have you ever experienced someone showing interest one moment, then seeming distant the next? This common phenomenon leaves many people confused and wondering where they stand. Some common examples of mixed signals include being warm one day but distant the next, saying they want space but constantly texting, making plans but canceling last minute, or expressing feelings while avoiding commitment. Body language and nonverbal cues often tell a different story than what someone is saying. Learning to read these hidden signals can help decode mixed messages. There are several reasons why people send mixed signals. These include fear of vulnerability, conflicting desires, uncertainty about feelings, protecting their ego, past relationship trauma, or testing your level of interest. Mixed signals often stem from complex emotional states. The person might be experiencing conflicting emotions simultaneously. Fear of vulnerability is often at the heart of mixed signals. When people feel vulnerable, they may retreat from intimacy after moments of closeness. When navigating mixed signals, focus on patterns rather than isolated incidents. Communicate directly about what you're experiencing, trust actions over words, and set clear boundaries for yourself. Social media has become a powerful force in shaping gender dynamics and communication patterns. These platforms influence how men and women interact, perceive each other, and form relationships in both positive and negative ways. Let's examine both the positive and negative impacts of social media on gender dynamics. On the positive side, social media provides a platform for diverse voices, challenges traditional gender stereotypes, and creates supportive communities. However, social media can also reinforce harmful stereotypes, enable online harassment, and create unrealistic standards for both men and women. Social media platforms have varying gender distributions that influence their cultures and communication dynamics. Online harassment and abuse have significant psychological impacts, particularly on women. These effects range from decreased self esteem and confidence to apprehension about using social media platforms. The impact of social media also extends to how men and women interact with brands and products. Research shows that 3 out of 5 women are significantly influenced by social media in their relationships with brands, compared to just 1 in 10 men. Being aware of social media's influence on gender dynamics is essential for healthy online interactions. This awareness includes recognizing platform biases, being mindful of stereotypes, and practicing respectful communication online. Understanding these digital influences helps us navigate social media more mindfully and develop healthier online relationships. Workplace miscommunication poses significant challenges to effective collaboration and productivity. Miscommunication in the workplace leads to missed deadlines, increases stress levels, and significantly decreases productivity. The costs of miscommunication are substantial. Over half of employees report higher stress levels due to miscommunication, while 44% experience project delays or failures. Despite its importance, communication remains a challenge. 96% of decision makers and 95% of employees identify communication as crucial for workplace success. Studies show that collaborating across departments is often more challenging than working within teams. The greatest hurdles include interacting with different personalities, managing crisis related stress, and prioritizing conflicting deadlines. Gender related communication differences also impact workplace collaboration. Men and women often have different verbal and nonverbal communication styles, which can lead to misunderstandings when not recognized. When team members are effectively moving in opposite directions, collaboration breaks down. Different goals, priorities, and communication styles can pull teams apart, despite being connected by shared objectives. Creating an inclusive communication environment requires deliberate action. HR departments can foster better communication by creating awareness, understanding different audiences, highlighting inclusive language, and developing targeted training programs. To summarize, effective communication is crucial for workplace success. Cross-department collaboration presents unique challenges that require attention. Understanding gender-related communication differences improves teamwork, and implementing inclusive communication practices creates better work environments. The key to bridging the gender gap lies in open, honest communication and a willingness to empathize with different perspectives. By acknowledging and addressing communication differences, we can create more meaningful relationships. Remember, poor communication ranks as the top sign of an unhealthy relationship. Empathy involves stepping into another person's shoes. When we listen actively and try to understand different perspectives, we build stronger connections. Challenging stereotypes is essential for better understanding between genders. We need to recognize that communication styles aren't inherently masculine or feminine. Fostering mutual respect means creating inclusive environments where all voices are valued and heard. This is particularly important in workplace settings. When we practice open communication and empathy, we can build stronger connections across gender lines, as shown by these individuals enjoying meaningful conversation. Here are some practical tips for better communication across gender lines. These strategies can help everyone, regardless of gender. By practicing open communication and empathy, we can bridge the gender gap and create more meaningful and understanding relationships.